Hey everyone, welcome to this week's Forex Forecast. Let's get things started with the US dollar, the DXY. Starting things off with the COT report for the US dollar. The past week, the banks got rid of 1,444 long contracts, and they also got rid of 2,307 short contracts. So, looking at this chart, this overall four chart layout, you can see here that we couldn't quite contact this daily demand zone on the DXY here. We had this daily demand located at 101.789. We actually hit the inverse supply zone on the euro and broke it. But as far as the DXY goes, we just couldn't quite hit that daily zone. And now we are pushing up. So I'm not going to call this a test of the zone because it's pretty far away from the zone. So if price does pull back to this daily demand, I think it's still a great opportunity to continue to buy the US dollar. But as long as we have the strength in the DXY, I think it's okay to continue to actually look for longs in the DXY, or in any of the dollar pairs. If you look at the 4-hour chart here, something critical is about to take place. If you look at a 4-hour chart, we have a 4-hour downtrend. Supply zone here, we have not quite contacted it yet. Now, if you are to be bullish on the US dollar, I think it's best to actually wait for this to take place, where not only we remove this downward trend line, but also the supply zone. So I want to see both removed first before we just consider just getting long. Now, with that low being a control down here and the daily demand almost being a control, I think it's okay to still look for longs. But like I said, it's definitely best to wait for confirmation by removing the downward trend line and the supply. So if we get something like this taking place, we'll have demand down here or even possibly up here, and we can look to buy a pullback in some of the US dollar pairs if that's what ends up happening on the DXY. So as far as the US dollar goes, guys, if we continue to push down here, back down to that daily demand that's even lower, that's okay. We can continue to look for longs down there. But in the meantime, if we break this supply now, we could continue to look for longs if we get new demand like there. And, if you were bearish the DXY, which I get it, you could use this 4-hour supply to look for potential shorts. So really, at the end of the day, all of the DXY trading really just revolves around this supply zone on the 4-hour chart and the daily demand on the daily chart. All right, on to the euro US dollar. The past week, the banks added 3,261 longs, and they also added 10,434 shorts. So something significant has happened. If you look at a daily chart here, just like the opposite of the DXY, we had supply here, but we actually pushed into the supply and actually broke above it, which created this demand zone. Now, I have not updated the zone for the members yet, but I'm going to update it right now. So we just removed demand. We do have some sort of demand down here as well, but to me it's looking weak, and it's actually looking like the euro wants to actually fall. So how do we go about trading that? Well, if you look at a 4-hour chart here, right now we are stuck. We're pretty much 50%. We're basically in the middle between supply and demand. So how do we go about trading that? Well, there's two supply zones up here. If you're bearish the euro US dollar, you could look for confirmation shorts coming off of any one of these 4-hour supply zones. And if we are bullish, well, the trade has already kind of taken place at this 4-hour area of demand. We're already pushing up off of that demand zone. This is a demand zone that I pointed out for the members as well. We also have fresh demand down here and here for better buying opportunities. But for now, I actually think the euro is going to fall. So I think 4-hour supply zones, looking for confirmation in these zones, could definitely be good. And if we do roll over and break demand here and we don't hit these zones, we have new 4-hour supply here. I'll have that zone for the members as well, and we could potentially get a trade off of that supply zone on the euro US dollar. So that's with the daily demand being broken, guys. So I am expecting price to kind of rally down here in the euro. We are going to have to wait and see what happens around these two 4-hour areas of supply. All right, on to gold forecast. The past week, the banks added 1,991 longs, and they also got rid of 775 shorts. Before we get into the rest of the analysis for gold, if you guys want to join the Diamond membership or any other membership, check it out. Links are in the description down below. If you want access to my daily chart analysis, daily market breakdown, Sunday live stream forecast, Sunday Zoom session, COT Report Spreadsheet, all of that stuff. If you want access to it, check it out. Links in the description down below to the Diamond membership. I am looking for serious traders only who want to master supply and demand. So check it out. Links in the description down below. I'll be happy to see you guys join the teams. And we also have lifetime access available if you do not want to have a monthly fee. Now, looking at gold here, looks like we are pushing down to this weekly demand zone at 1870. I've been very patient up here on gold. I've been waiting for this dip buy opportunity. So if we do push back into this weekly demand, I think it's a great area to look for longs. Now, how do we go about trading to the downside? Well, if you look at a daily chart here, we are currently reacting off this daily demand at 1930. This is a daily demand zone. I've had it marked out for a long time now. You can go back all the way back in April. I was pointing out this demand zone at 1930. I said I would wait for that zone to be hit to look for buys. And we've already got a move up from that zone. But look at how deep we've tested now. So in my opinion, this is looking weak, and I'm actually expecting this to break. Now, if you want to trade short, that's okay. And I think trading short down to 1870, that would be my target for shorts. So how do we go about trading shorts on gold right now? Well, if you look at a 1 hour chart here, there's really nothing above. We already had a nice 1 hour supply zone trade off of that zone here. There's really nothing fresh going on in this 1 hour chart here. But if we do, break lower like this, break these lows and these demand zones, if we have new 1 hour supply here, I will mark that out for the members, and we can potentially get a supply zone here. So that's something you get. Part of the membership, guys, is you get a link to my charts and my daily chart analysis. And not only that, my daily market breakdown videos as well. Basically a 10, 12-minute video, me breaking down the markets every week, every day. So that's what I'd be looking for here on gold. If we actually get a bigger push up to like 1950, we have 4 hour supply here. We could still look for potential short trades coming off of that supply zone like that on gold. So that's what I'm seeing on gold here, guys. Still, I think we're going to see downward pressure down to the weekly demand down at 1870. So I think looking for shorts, as long as we have a 4 hour and 1 hour downtrend, I think looking for shorts is definitely okay on day trading timeframes. All right, on to the forecast for the USDJPY. The past week, the banks got rid of 1,164 longs, and they also got rid of 4,844 short positions. Now, first things first, looking at the weekly chart here, clearly we have seen momentum to the upside. Not only that, we have profit margin up to 146.6 at this weekly supply zone. So longs are definitely still okay. Not only that, we have a daily uptrend with new demand being formed. If we do get pullbacks to any one of these demand zones on the daily chart, I know this is a long time away, but I just want to say I'm interested in looking for longs in any one of those daily demand zones as long as the weekly supply doesn't get hit first. So if we do get deep pullbacks, I am definitely interested in getting in long. But how do we go about trading it now? Well, there's honestly a lot of options. We have trends on basically all time frames except for the weekly chart. So it's longs all the way. So I'm going to point out a few zones for you guys. I usually don't point out too many zones. I usually let that be with the diamond members and the daily market breakdown. But these are some zones I would be looking for. Not every zone is going to work, guys. It's all about having that risk to reward and just sticking to your plan and just taking the trade after trade and trusting your risk to reward and your setup. So these are 2 4 hour zones I would definitely be looking for potential longs in. Coming off of those 4 hour zones, you could use 15-minute or 5-minute confirmation coming off of those zones. And that's pretty much all I see here in the USD yen. We also have 2 little 1 hour zones right here that are embedded inside the 1 hour zones as well. So definitely keep an eye out on these zones as we have the trends in play and profit margin all the way up to weekly supply on the USD Japanese yen. And remember, if you want my zones, because look, sometimes what happens is we start to pull back to the zone and then boom, we push up, new zone is formed on Wednesday and we get a move off that zone like this. Well, that's why you join the membership and you can get my chart analysis and daily market breakdowns every single day. All right, looking at the GBPUSD forecast. The past week, the banks added 25,184 longs, and they also got rid of 14,689 shorts. Looking at a weekly chart here, you can see we still have profit margin up to weekly supply at about 1.296. But if you look, we got one very bearish candle here on the weekly chart. But that's okay. That's actually what I was waiting for and what I wanted here in the pound, because we have daily uptrend with profit margin to the upside. We have daily demand down below at 1.258. I'd be interested in looking for longs at this daily demand zone. Now, I know not everyone has the patience to wait for daily demand, and that's fine. So how do we go about trading it now? Well, it's pretty simple, really. We have trend to the upside. We have 4 hour demand zones down below. Really, you could use any one of these zones to look for confirmation longs in on like a 50-minute or a 5-minute chart. Not only that, we have some pretty decent 1 hour demand zones down here as well that are embedded inside of the 4 hour demands as well. So as long as we have the daily trend in play on the GBPUSD, I think looking for pullbacks to the long side is definitely the right thing to do. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I am very, very bullish the pound right now. A lot of these trending pairs, so just waiting for pullbacks down to fresh areas of demand to look for longs. All right, on to the USD-CAD forecast. The past week, the banks added 9,500 longs and they also added 12,651 shorts. This one is a very, very simple analysis here, guys. You guys know, if you've been watching my forecast for quite a while now, I've been waiting for this weekly demand zone since pretty much all the way back here for quite a long time now. So we have finally contacted this weekly demand zone. So you guys guessed it, I am bullish on the USD-CAD right now. Now, it doesn't mean we just want to hop in long. We did get some sort of 4-hour confirmation down here. It didn't quite remove supply, but it is a zone at the extreme with a move away. So this 4-hour zone, not the best to take on its own, but could be used for extra confirmation to the long side. But I am kind of expecting it to actually break since it didn't really remove supply. So the best thing we could actually look for on the USD-CAD is for this supply zone to be removed. So yes, we had the confirmation kind of down here, but the better actual confirmation would be removing this supply like this. So the reason I'm pointing out this zone down here is because yes, it didn't remove anything, but since the higher time frame zones are in play, this zone definitely could work. It's just a little low odds, so extra confirmation would be better coming off of that demand zone. So we haven't really seen any evidence that the USD-CAD is going to, be pushing up. Yes, we've seen momentum push to the upside the last couple candles here in the 4-hour chart, but we have not removed supply. But at the end of the day, weekly demand is in control, guys. So we want to be looking for longs here on the USD-CAD. So wait for 4-hour supply zones to be removed. And even on the daily chart, guys, if we get something like this where we break supply on the daily chart, create new daily demand, this would be a fantastic area on the daily chart to look for longs as well. So USD-CAD, it's longs all the way here. Just need to wait for new zones and more confirmation to be formed. All right, looking at the Aussie US dollar, the past week the banks added 6,985 long contracts and they also got rid of 5,144 long contracts. So the last couple weeks here, we actually reacted off of this weekly demand zone and pushed up. So I am definitely bullish the Aussie US dollar right now. And something interesting has happened. We have daily demand right here that is in control right now. We also have demand that's a little lower on the daily chart down here. Any one of these zones really could be used for confirmation longs. And we actually even have a little bit of a buying area here as well. I'm not going to draw that one because then we just have zones all over the place. So daily demand and control, guys, we want to be looking for longs here on the Aussie US dollar. Now, we have not seen any evidence of that taking place yet. We haven't seen any evidence to say that we should be going in long. Now, we are reacting off this purple zone right now. This is a valid set and forget. Same with the one lower here, the above that actually broke through. These are decent set and forgets. But at the end of the day, we want to wait for confirmation by removing this downward trend line. So if we can get something like this to take place, 1-hour demand zone here, that would be your confirmation. And then if we actually break this 1-hour supply here, left with 1-hour demand zone here, that would be your trade as well. So potential 2 trades potentially setting up here on the Aussie US dollar. And there's really not much else to say, guys. With the higher time frame demand zones in control, we need to favor longs. Now, it's definitely possible that, hey, if you look at the overall momentum on the weekly chart here, the overall momentum is down. It's certainly possible we end up breaking this low. I am fully accepting that is possible, but when demand becomes in control like this, we need to favor longs. Just like favoring longs when the demand was here was the right thing to do, we still need to look for longs. So I cannot stress that enough on the Aussie US dollar, guys. But until we can get a change in momentum here on the 1-hour chart, I am really not interested in looking for buys just yet. All right, looking at the USD Swiss franc. The past week, the banks got rid of 256 longs and they got rid of 64 shorts. Not a lot going on here, guys. Just kind of just choppiness. We have a supply zone in control on the daily chart, pushing down off of it. I think favoring shorts is really the best thing, but I'll tell you right now, this is going to be a pretty short little forecast video because it's just messy. I mean, there's just really not a lot going on. Even these supply zones here in the 4-hour chart, I mean, this supply zone is a reaction off of this supply zone. That's a reaction off of that supply up there as well. So it's really not great, but I mean, if we do push up to 0.90, we could look for shorts off of that, looking for 15-minute confirmation shorts. I think that's okay. But other than that, we're going to continue to move on here because really, USD Swiss, guys, not really the best pair to be trading. Even on the 1-hour chart, we already had the trade on the 1-hour supply zone here. This is actually a zone I pointed out for the members as well in the daily market breakdown. But the trade has already happened on the 1-hour chart, guys. So really not a lot to report here on the USD Swiss. All right, last but not least, we are on to crude oil. The past week, the banks got rid of 12,486 longs, and they also got rid of 23,889 shorts. So looking at oil, guys, we still are in daily demand, but look how much it's been tested. To be honest, I haven't really liked oil lately. Just everything is tested. Just a lot of sideways price action. Very, very disappointing. I'm just waiting for that breakout on the daily chart, removing that supply before I personally trade oil anymore. Yes, you know, looking at the lower time frames, there have been some opportunities. This zone failed, but this one at the extreme kind of worked here. We do have supply above. You could look for shorts off of that supply zones. We can see supply and demand zones working here and there for a little bit, but it's just really low odds. So yes, you could look for shorts and longs off of some of my zones here, but really at the end of the day, we want to see that daily breakout before we just hop in long, which is, in my opinion, the most favorable thing to be doing. 1 hour chart, we have some supply zones here. You could look for shorts off of that supply if you are bearish on oil right now. But at the end of the day, definitely some confusing times here on oil. So gonna have to monitor this one throughout the week as well. I hope you guys found this weekly Forex forecast helpful. If it did, I would really appreciate a like and a subscribe if you are new to the channel. And as always, check out the YouTube and Patreon membership if you want to get my daily chart analysis and much, much more.